You're listening to the Batuta Advocate's weekly news wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5. Welcome back to the Batuta Advocate weekly news bulletin as we wrap up this chaotic week in world news. You thought coronavirus and bushfires had everyone on the edge of their seats. What about this election that's come down to the wire? You're joined by myself, Clancy Overall, editor of the Batuta Advocate, and of course Errol Parker, editor-at-large.
Afternoon, Clancy. What's making news this week, mate?
Mate, there's a lot going on. Sleepy Joe and Donald Trump are going toe-to-toe. There's a few battleground states that no one expected. Wendell Hussey?
We will start off over there, and the president, who was initially elected with less votes than his opponent, now claims the system is rigged.
Yes, this is all unfolding as we go to air, but the President of the United States, Donald Trump, is still claiming that the system that put him in power is completely flawed and skewed against him.
He's saying that they are trying to steal this election off him, despite the fact the very same electoral setup got him in the White House with a smaller percentage than his opponent back in 2016.
Yes, he's also still demanding that they stop counting votes in Georgia, Pennsylvania, and so on, where he is ahead, but keep going in Nevada, where he is behind.
He hasn't had much luck with those calls, understandably, and there was a comment on that story from Scott Walker that racked up the likes. He said, guy who thinks they'd have less virus if they stopped testing also thinks he'd win if they stopped counting. In some local political news now, and Peter Dutton has claimed that he saw Kevin Rudd poking needles into fruit at the Rockley markets in 2018.
Yes, of course, this has nothing to do with that whole petition with 500,000 signatures on it, but Peter Dutton has been rolled out by News Corp to now try and link the former Labor Prime Minister to the needles in fruit scandal that rocked the nation in 2018. Kevin is yet to respond to these allegations, so we'll let you know if he does.
The Herald Sun have also claimed that Kevin tripped horse Anthony Van Dyck, that died in the Melbourne Cup a few days ago, and insinuated he may have been behind the second outbreak in Melbourne.
He's all over the country, is Kevin. Now, down there in Melbourne, there was a story we broke that was Melburnians get yet another public holiday after having 112 days off straight.
Yes, it was the Melbourne Cup this week, which means the good people of Melbourne got to enjoy another public holiday, barely a week after they got a day off for the AFL Grand Final.
The Melbourne man probably most deserving of a day off, Daniel Andrews, said that this year has been hard for the people of Melbourne. So rather than sending people back to work because they can't go to the races, they can just stay at home and punt away their stimulus checks.
And there was a comment on that one from Grace Hagenbach, which was similar to a lot of angry Melburnians. And she said, how great is working 12-hour days through a 112-day lockdown, unable to do anything other than work, and then being told we've been on holidays by you, Batuta. Still too triggered for this to be funny.
Ooh, snowflake much?
It's only news, Grace.
We just report what's in front of us, Grace. In some local news from here in Batuta now, a local groom-to-be would honestly be fine with Viennetta as the cake.
Yeah, this local bloke, Brad, made the foolish mistake of suggesting a few Coles Viennettas would serve the purpose of a wedding cake for his upcoming big day.
Yes, weddings are obviously a very expensive ritual these days, and I certainly can see where he's coming from, but you are asking for trouble when you make comments like this.
And in some sports news now to round out the week, the New South Wales Blues have demanded a recount of the State of Origin score.
What a game that was from the Brave Maroons. And since then, the whinging Southerners have demanded a recount of the score and threatened to take the decision to the Supreme Court.
And New South Wales man Bradley Scott Fittler reckons because they were ahead early on and then all those late points coming in for Queensland were fraudulent and the results should be recounted.
Wayne Bennett has yet to comment on that. He just gave reporters an icy glare when they asked the question. Anyway, that's all for us here for this week. Thanks for tuning in and we will talk to you again next time with all of the biggest stories from our humble regional newspaper. Farewell.
Have a good one, guys.
Hooroo. Look after yourself.